Hi everyone, I'm Doug from DigiPen in Redmond. In this video, we'll add depth to our game by introducing some dangerous new enemy types. Let's examine the strengths and weaknesses of our masterpiece, Scratch Invaders. What's fun about this game? Well, it provides a decent challenge, at least for a few minutes, and the enemies make a satisfying pop sound whenever they're defeated. What's not fun about it? Well, it can get boring pretty quickly. There's not much variety in how the game is played because there's only one kind of enemy and the hero only has one attack. What can we do to Scratch Invaders to make it better? One of its main problems is a lack of variety. It's just the same thing again and again. Shoot the same old enemies with the same old bullets while dodging the same old attacks. We could improve the experience by adding more options for what the player can do with the hero, and also by adding one or more new enemy types. Let's address this problem by adding some variety to the game. We'll start with the enemies, and we'll give the hero more to do later. Right now, we have one enemy type. It's a pretty good enemy, but the game will be much better if we add another one. Why? Well, players have more fun when they're not just doing the same thing again and again. The game will be more engaging and interesting if the player has to think differently about how to handle some of the enemies compared to others. Furthermore, adding another enemy will give us more control over the difficulty of the game. In the past, we talked about how the difficulty of a game can be changed by changing its numbers and changing its code, and we showed that it's easier and faster to make a difference by changing numbers. Every new enemy type we add gives us more numbers to change. A new enemy could have more or less HP. It could be bigger or smaller. It could move more often or more quickly. And with just a few small code changes, we could give them different movement patterns and change the kind of bullets they shoot. Overall, there are large benefits to adding even just one more enemy type, all for just a small amount of effort. Let's get to work on adding a new enemy, and afterward, we'll discuss what it would take to add even more. Let's add variety to Scratch Invaders by introducing a new enemy type to the game. Load what you've already done in that project, or visit the link in the description below, and then click the See Inside button. Let's add a new, tougher breed of enemies. We'll put it further in the back, and we'll place its clones in the gaps between the old enemies. Right-click the enemy sprite in the sprite pane and choose to duplicate it. Change its name to Tough Enemy. While we're here, let's make it just a little bit larger as well. In the size field, type the number 35. Now we'll change how its costume looks, so click on the Costumes tab at the top. The easiest way to make a new enemy costume is to change the color of an existing one. This is a common tradition in making video games that saves a lot of time and, in some cases, storage space and memory. Select the Fill tool and then click the Color Picker. Choose a color that will make this new enemy look tougher than the old one. We'll go with a dark purple. After you select your color, click each part of the enemy that you want to paint. We'll change all the pink parts to purple, but how you go about recoloring your enemy is up to you. When you're done, click the Code tab at the top. Find the Initialize function in the code area. Here is where we find the numbers that control where the enemies are placed when the game starts. Since we want to put the tough enemies in the gaps between the basic enemies, we should make a few changes here. First, find the set block that defines the enemies per row variable. In its value field, type the number 8. Next, find number of rows and change its value to 2. Now we need to change where these enemies appear. We need to shift the placements of each enemy by half the wave spacing in both the horizontal and vertical directions. Find the set block that defines wave start x. We need to take whatever this variable already has in it and increase it by half of what's in the wave spacing x variable. We could do the math ourselves and change the numbers that are in here, but what if we make a mistake? Instead, let's let the computer do the math for us. Click the orange Variables category. Add a change block to the bottom of the Initialize function and select Wave Start X from its variable list. Now click the green Operators category. Find the Divide block and put it in the value field of the Change block. Click the orange Variables category again and find the Wave Spacing X Reporter block. Put it in the left value field of the Divide block, and in the right value field, type the number 2. This takes care of the horizontal spacing. Now right-click the Change block and choose to duplicate it. Attach the copy beneath the original and select Wave Start Y from its variable list. Right-click the Wave Spacing X Reporter block and change it to a Wave Spacing Y Reporter block. Now click the green flag and take a look at the enemy formation. The new foes are placed between the old ones. Next, change the number of HP the new enemy has. In the body of the Initialize function, find the set block that defines the HP variable. There's no way to know right now what the perfect number is, so we'll just guess. But giving the tough enemy twice as many HP as the basic enemy is a good place to start. In our case, the basic enemy has 3 HP, so in the value field, we'll type the number 6. Remember, you can change this later. Now find the set block that defines the point value variable. Let's double the number of points the tough enemy is worth, since it has double the HP. The basic enemy is worth 250 points, so in the value field, we'll type the number 500. We're almost done with the Initialize function, but there's one more important thing we need to do here. The enemy count variable is initialized here, but that's already happening in the old enemy's Initialize function, and it should only be done once. Drag the enemy count variable's set block out of the body of the Initialize function and set it aside. Then drag the block attached beneath it away from it and put it back in the Initialize function. Finally, drag the enemy count variable's set block and drop it on the block palette to delete it. Now we'll move on to modifying the tough enemy's movement numbers, so find the move function in the code area. Let's make it so that the tough enemy moves more quickly, but it moves smaller distances and less often. First, we'll change the numbers in the pick random blocks that are used in setting the move end x and move end y variables. In our case, we have 2 instances of the number -50 and 2 instances of 50. We'll type the number -10 where we see -50, and we'll type the number 10 where we see 50. Next, let's change the duration of this movement. Let's remove this pick random block and just type in a single small number. Drag the pick random block out of the glide block and drop it on the block palette to delete it. Then, in the first value field in the glide block, type the number 0.25. Next, we'll change how often the new enemy moves. Find the When I Start as a Clone block with the forever loop that contains the move block. To make the tough enemy move less often, we can just increase both numbers in this pick random block. In the first value field, type the number 3.0. In the second, type the number 4.5. And while we're here, let's make one more change to make this enemy's movement more unique. Right-click the Move block and choose to duplicate it. Set the copy nearby. Right-click the copy and duplicate it too. Attach the two copies together, and then attach them both to the original inside the mouth of the Forever block, like this. Now, every time the tough enemy moves, it will move 3 times, each time in a random direction. Next, find the damaged function in the code area. Here, we're making the enemy brighter when it gets hit. Since the tough enemy has more HP, let's reduce how much we add to the brightness effect with each hit. In the Change Effect block's value field, type the number 10. Let's try it out. Click the green flag and play the game. The new enemies take more hits to defeat, but there's something wrong. The hero's bullets aren't being deleted when they hit a tough enemy. Additionally, if you let a tough enemy move all the way down to the hero's region, you'll find that the hero isn't damaged by touching them. We need to find all the places in our code where we check if something is colliding with an enemy and add a tough enemy collision check as well. We'll start with the hero. Select the hero sprite in the sprite pane. Find the enemy check function in the code area. This if-then block uses an OR block in its condition slot to check for collisions with more than one sprite. We can add another OR block to add another check. Right-click the OR block and choose to duplicate it. Set the copy aside. Drag one of the touching blocks out of the new OR block and drop it on the block palette to delete it. Then select Tough Enemy from the sprite list in the other touching block. Next, drag the first OR block out of the if-then block and put it in the empty condition slot in the new OR block. Now put this large OR block in the condition slot of the if-then block. Now let's make sure that these touching blocks are all set up correctly. One of them should be set to enemy, another should be set to enemy bullet, and the last one should be set to tough enemy. This takes care of the collision check. Note that all of these sprites use the same check. In other words, the hero reacts the same way to being hit by both kinds of enemies and their bullets. If we wanted the hero to react differently to them, perhaps by losing a different number of HP when getting hit, we could replace this with individual checks, each with its own if-then block and its own hit function. Now select the bullet sprite in the sprite pane and find its enemy check function. We'll need an OR block here too. Click the green Operators category and put an OR block nearby. Drag the touching block out of the condition slot of the if-then block and put it in the left condition slot of the OR block. Right-click the touching block and choose to duplicate it. Place the copy in the right condition slot and select Tough Enemy from its sprite list. Then put the OR block in the condition slot of the if-then block. Now click the green flag and try the game. It's quite a bit harder now, isn't it? Adding this new enemy has made a big difference. Feel free to change the tough enemy's numbers to change the game's difficulty. So, what should we do if we wanted to add yet another new enemy type? We could follow the same plan we used for this one. Duplicate a sprite we already have, give it a new costume, change its numbers, and fix up the collision code. Let's recap what we've learned in this video. First, we examined the strengths and weaknesses of Scratch Invaders. The game's challenge is fun, but one problem it has is a lack of variety. We decided that we can address this problem by adding another enemy type. Adding another enemy type gives us more control over the game's difficulty by adding more numbers to change, such as the new enemy's HP, movement speed, and so on. Then, We improved Scratch Invaders by adding a tough enemy. In the next video, we'll give the hero of Scratch Invaders an advantage in combat by introducing power-ups.